that you can see live, or you can listen to live on Radio 1 tomorrow morning. Big thank you to Ger and to Eamon, and also to Colin Cooper and to Peter Canavan. More on that with Jackie on the Sunday game from 9:30 in RT1 this evening. But here we are in Thurles for this All-Ireland hurling quarter-final. A brilliant early goal from Brian Hayes as Cork on top against Offaly, as we join Brendan Cummins and Marty Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Joanne. Welcome indeed to RT1 and the Sunday game after the drama in Croke Park. We're hoping that we're going to have the drama here in Semple Stadium. Let me tell you that Cork have settled early with a goal from Alan Walsh. All the points, 2 from Shane Barrett and 1 from a free by Alan Connolly. Meanwhile, the only response came from Owen Cahill, and that was a 65. So right now, the scoreline is Cork 1 goal and 3 points, Offaly 1 point. Sean Stack has asked for Hawkeye. Is here in Thurles. So is this a thaw or a kneel? And that's going to be an interesting decision, and every decision here at this stage will be vital. Let me tell you, there is a wonderful atmosphere all around Thurles and indeed in Semple Stadium. Match was sold out with during the week. 46,000 or close to it packed in here. Dominated, I have to say, by the fans in the red and white. But Offaly are here in the green, white and golds, the faithful county, and they're hoping that this young team of theirs will perform. Ben O'Connor has had to make those changes. Brian Roach and Darragh Fitzgibbon started midfield. That's because Tim O'Mahony and Tommy O'Connor both are injured, and it would seem that they'll be out for a little while as well, which would be a big blow. But right now, they're only concerned about getting to the quarter-final and getting to the semi-final. Sean Stack has indicated that is a point guaranteed. It's 1-4 for Cork, 1 point for Offaly. Ball comes down towards Hugh O'Connor, laying it back, fires Robert Downey. Crowd here in contrast to the 13,500 that turned up last night. Here's an opportunity for Hugh O'Connor going through the centre. Here comes the shot, and a great save by Liam Hoare. It's not over yet. Here comes Brian Hayes from a difficult angle. He puts it over his right-hand shoulder, but it goes across the face of the goal and wide. Wonderful save by Liam Hoare, only 20 years of age. A man who was diagnosed with lymphoma in 2022. He is a hero above in County Offaly, and wonderful hurler in his first championship season. Outstanding.
I'd love to give it to Marty, but it looks like he could have hit the post inside there, but it's even still, he had it covers the goalies union. But these are the ones though that Offaly need to watch. That runner coming from deep.
Nicely picked up by Dan Burke, captain of the under-20 Offaly team that won All-Ireland 2 years ago. Ball comes back out for Hugh O'Connor. Quick hands, looking for this Dermot Healy. Here comes the shot from Mark Coleman. Thinking he can reach the target. It's on its way, and it's over the bar. Good score.
Yeah, good clean strike from Coleman. Obviously the conditions down, there's not a breath of air. Hit it straight over the bar. It's the issue for Offaly too. Sometimes if they don't push out, he's going to do that. And if you push out, the space is inside. But that's the balance they have to try to find.
Good puck up by the Offaly keeper to Ben Keneally. St. Rhinus. Mark Coleman anticipated what was happening. He has the time to look around, see will he go long or short. Decides to go long, and despite being doubly marked, Shane Barrett goes up into the clouds, lands in terra firma, and sends it straight between the posts and over the bar for his 3rd point of the game. Yeah, such an impressive play.
It is, Marty, no doubt. That's some feeling from Barrett in there. There was an Offaly defender behind him, one cutting across the front. You're talking about inside, Johnny Kelby saying get pressure on him, get pressure on him. And you just catch it, light feet, lovely wrists over the bar.
Seven of the Offaly side that beat Tipperary in the under-20 final back in 2024 starting today. 12 of the Offaly side are 22 and younger. Here comes Dermot Healy, another young player emerging onto this Cork side over the last 12 months or more. 3 points in the championship so far. This is his first in the All-Ireland quarter-final.
They're finding it hard to get out, Offaly here. They're trying to get on a break as best they can, but the wing-backs are holding. They need to push up the pitch and follow the Cork half-forward line if they are going long. There's plenty of grass. This
was the goal scored by Alan Walsh earlier when we were broadcasting in the RT play. Ball pucks out for Dan Burke. Poor pass, however, easily anticipated by Mark Coleman. Has the time to go back to his goalkeeper, Patrick Collins. Leading already by 8 points with 13.5 minutes gone. Sending it down the wing. Sideline ball. Going to go to Offaly. Spiked Darragh Fitzgibbon.
That'll be another big plus for Cork too. Obviously down there, Marty's Darby Skibbins back down there. He's moving really, really well. Loads of enthusiasm. Obviously having his time out with the operation.
As you can see in the bottom of your screen there, Cork team is just being illustrated. I can tell you there were no changes on either side for this All-Ireland quarter-final. That means that Brian Dignan is at full forward for Offaly. The umpires are happy enough. There's a little bit of a nod. White flag will be raised. First point for him in this quarter-final. Brian Roach to Sean O'Donoghue. Options left and right. The left corner back for Miniscara is sending this to the right and wide.
Yeah, his eyes lit up there, all right, thinking now this is what Offaly can do, get the puck out of the way quickly. They've 1v1 inside, they need to get it into the grass.
Shane Rigney going for that one-man full forward line. They're already trailing. Damien Cahalane, good block down from Brian Dignan. Owen Downey with a very quick hands pick up there. Sean O'Donoghue in towards Brian Hayes. It's 1 against 1. Here it comes. Brilliant. His third goal of the championship 2026. A goal against Limerick, a goal against Clare, and now a goal against Offaly.
You're at your most vulnerable, Marty, against Cork if you're Offaly when you turn the ball over. In fairness to Dignan, he had to have a shot. No runners coming from deep to support him. He had to have a goal. Once it was blocked, tip-tapped along. Cuteness from Hayes to get inside there and had a little juggle with the hurley and all and just placed it into the corner of the net. No chance for Liam Hoare.
Memories of the league game in Páirc Uí Chaoimh is coming flooding back because here comes another goal.
Yep.
White-green flag will be raised. It's Alan Walsh's second goal. Cork beat Offaly 6-26 to 20 points in this year's Allianz Hurling League, and the signs are ominous. We've only 16 minutes gone. It's now Cork 3 goals and 7 points, Offaly 2 points.
Yeah, Adam Walsh is holding there on that right. See him coming in off the side of the shot there. That's the way he got the first goal. This time he just caught it straight to come out of the clouds and just tapped it past Liam Hoare.
Dermot Healy laying it off. Nice ball inside. Offaly looked to be really exposed here. Alan Connolly. Good work by Offaly defensively. But Connolly wins the ball back. Looks to me like he was fouled. The referee has blown his whistle.
Yeah, it has to be consideration down there. Johnny Kelly is trying to get his few of his players back up the pitch. They've Screeney inside now with Brian Dignan, hoping they can cause some bit of a threat in there, but they're really camped in their own half of the pitch. And getting out has been the problem. You see him down there himself and Shamie Callan. They're trying to see if they can get more of a threat going forward, because at the moment it's like hitting off a wall ball. It's just coming back as quick. Backs have no chance then to recover and get their positions. Pulled out of shape then means that Cork can go to town, unfortunately.
14 points down after 17 minutes is intimidating for any team that's kind of trying to emerge, coming through the Christie Ring and Joe McDonough and bringing back the glory days of Offaly of old.
It is, and I'm surprised they didn't go with a sweeper here today, to be honest with you. Play with 7 backs, hold out as long as you can. It was okay for Tibray last year in the All-Ireland final, got him across the line. Because today they decided to go with 1 up or 2 up, and there's so much space down there, Marty.
Mark Coleman was coming out with the ball. Didn't quite deliver the pass, but Owen Cahill sent the shot in, but it's wide. But there's an Offaly player down injured here.
Yeah, Adam Screeney and Coleman crashed into each other there. It's back. Screeney's back. That's where he got it. We'll catch it here now. It's coming in. There's just a left knee of Cahalane. You can see it here. And then unfortunately when Cahalane landed, he landed down on top of Adam Screeney as well here. But that's it. If you're up there, up front, it's the Lone Ranger job in a lot of ways. And in fairness to Screeney, just come out the worst end of that. Hopefully he's just winded.
He does create a sparkle when that Offaly ball goes into the full forward line. Under 20 All-Ireland medalist back in 2024. Has been performing well, just another one of the 20-year-olds. Jamie Callanan, former Tipperary hurler there, part of the backroom team in Offaly with Johnny Kelly. They did go defensively, but it hasn't worked, has it?
No, it didn't. It's hard to know for him, in fairness to Offaly. I don't think they had a huge amount of certainty, because your half-back line normally want to try to sit Marty, but the Cork half-forward line was so dominant, they were actually caught and didn't get back to support inside, and turnovers and scores. But now they look like Oisin Kelly looked like he was coming on there now. He's gone back to the dugout against Green. He looks like he's fine to continue.
We're looking at the 3 goals. Alan Walsh scored a goal after the 4th minute. Brian Hayes in the 15th. And Alan Walsh was back in the action again a minute later, scoring another goal for Cork. They're the 3 goals. Sean O'Donoghue down the wing towards Shane Barrett, gone out over the sideline. His momentum carried him over. Sideline ball for Offaly. I know I gave the figures a moment ago, Brendan, but this is a very young Offaly side.
It is. There's no doubt at all. They're developing, and they're making their way through, and a big Offaly support here as well. It's just really, really important now, Marty, the next 10 minutes or so, they don't let it get away any further than it is already. Keep battling, keep trying to stay in the fight here.
Owen Downey has the time to look around, see who's available up front. Good work on this occasion by Ross Ravenhill. Over towards Liam Hoare. Scooping it up far as Kieran Burke. Cork retreat into their midfield and half backline areas. Effort is half blocked. Easy ball for Robert Downey. Mark Coleman, unmarked between his own 45 and 65. Driving it in. Nobody could reach it. Wide ball.
Yeah, he was lobbing that in again there towards Alan Walsh. Something Cork have obviously decided they're going to play it into him in that corner.
Ross Ravenhill is available in front of us here. Calling for it. Didn't get it. Ball is still alive. And back to gather it is Brian Roach under pressure from Dan Burke. Owen Downey. Cork defenders all lining up to take the shot. This time, however, it works in Offaly's favour. Ben Keneally. Good ball. Better ball. Now this looks to have the distance. Did it tail at the end? It did. Brian Dignan a little bit disappointed.
But that's where the opportunity is going to be for Offaly here, is that one-on-one inside there. Get into the grass, left or right of the inside guy, and try to get a shot away. At least it went dead.
Fine puck of the ball from Pat Collins, so accurate to his captain Darragh Fitzgibbon, despite the pressure. Puts that between the posts and over the bar.
Like I said earlier, no side effects from being away from the game. It's the ideal game for him. Just got a flick across the arm there. Offaly player looking to get away with that one, but either way, Fitzgibbon effortlessly put it between the posts.
The referee is blowing his whistle. And not too sure what he's doing, Brendan.
Yeah, there's 3 inside. I don't know, Johnny Kelly's down there with the 4th official as well, just trying to work out what's happening. Every player's on their feet around the pitch, anyway, Marty, so there's nobody after getting clipped off the ball.
I get the feeling that Sean Stack was counting the number of players on the pitch.
Well, at the moment, unfortunately, the way the games be going, look like Cork are playing with 18 or 19, if the truth be known. But at the same time, like I said, Offaly need to keep hanging in now, especially a puck out time like this. This is where they need to try to use the legs they have, try to get onto the grass.
Everybody, I think, is a little confused. Liam Hoare has the slither in his hand.
And just the referee's just explaining, we can hear him now. So Hawkeye, Cork, that last Brian Dignan point, Hawkeye came back and said that it was a point. The puck out came, Cork then scored, but they're bringing it back for the Hawkeye call below over Patrick Collins' head. So it'll restart with a puck out from Patrick Collins because Brian Dignan's shot went over the bar.
And the point for Cork down at the other end has been duly cancelled by the two umpires, who waved the white and green flags across each other. So Brian Dignan's score stands, the effort, second point of the match for him. He did protest, but in fairness to Hawkeye, they informed the referee that it actually had crossed over the crossbar between the two posts. Cork counter-attack, and this time there is no doubt.
So I think, to be fair here in Thurles, Marty, Hawkeye is more of a manual process and is in Croke Park. We don't have the lasers here, so in the booth, I think Dickie Murphy did it last night. I don't know who's down there tonight, but today, but it just takes a little bit of time, and that's what's caused the delay. It's not that satisfactory either.
Good puck out by Liam Hoare. Offaly now playing with a two-man full forward line. Brian Dignan coming in along the end line. That pathway is blocked by Damien Cahalane across the face of the goal, and it dribbles out over the end line and wide. Pat Collins to Dermot Healy. Brian Hayes, despite being doubly marked, still manages to get inside the defensive line of Offaly opposing at the moment. Dermot Healy sending it back. Brian Roach was the intended target. Owen Cahill is back out defending his team here. Stalemate just on the 45-metre line. Picked up by Carl King. Cork under no great pressure defensively. Robert Downey to Dara Fitzgibbon. You've got to mark players of this calibre in an All-Ireland quarter-final, in any match indeed. That's the second point of the game.
Yeah, it's very difficult. You see Fitzgibbon there just splitting the post with it. Just awfully inside defenders struggling to break the tackle coming out, Marty, which means there's no overlap, so everybody's isolated when they get possession.
Good work here by Dan Ravenhill. Referee spotting the infringement. It's going to be a free for Offaly. Cork playing with a slight summer breeze in this first half, by the way, and I really don't consider it a major factor.
Here's the tug back again from Downey. There's to Conor Doyle there, got out in front. All these little ones will be win now if Owen Cal can split the post here, gives them a little bit more belief, try to defend the puck out, get on a break.
He's already scored a 65, and that is just outside the post. It remains 3-9 for Cork, 3 points for Offaly. Damien Cahalane gives Patrick Collins options, continues to play it down the wing. There's Dermot Healy. Shane Barrett running through as he normally does most defences. Back out for Dara Fitzgibbon, a little flick to Shane Barrett. He's going to go for the goal. Unstoppable. You could see it was on his mind. Created by Dara Fitzgibbon, finished by Shane Barrett.
Yeah, again, they got the overlap. I think Cathal King is injured down there, Marty, to be honest. Couldn't track the runners inside at all. And then when Barrett got the chance like that, he's just not going to miss from there, and he gets to plant his feet. It's a good pass from Fitzgibbon, just gave everybody the eyes. And he gets to plant his feet from there, and it's only going to be one result. And here Cork come again.
And it's Dara Fitzgibbon once more, bearing down on goal, flicking it into the centre, pulled on the goal line. Cork sniffing a goal here, and that flies over the crossbar and over the bar. Good score.
Good scramble defence as well from Offaly. You can see him here. Dara Fitzgibbon gets inside, gets the strength, length and the stride. You think here now it's lights out. But unbelievable on the line there was Kieran Burke, who came back and got the flick away. Great defensive work.
Puck out from Liam Hoare. Attacking that ball right from the start is Mark Coleman. Good stick work, good control. Shane Barrett over for his Dermot Healy. Healy from the middle of the pitch will raise a white flag for the second time.
He will, and to be fair to Cathal King down there, he's miles off Dudsey, and if he keeps doing that, it's going to be the same result all the time. He looked like he was limping in the last play.
This time it's Sean O'Donoghue that wins the race. Hurley got. Referee Sean Stack saw the infringement, and Hugh O'Connor was a dual star, fine underage footballer for Cork as well.
Yeah. Sean Stack didn't like him soloing the ball. Referee the other way.
Owen Cahill comes out again. All his frees have been outside the 65 or on the 65. This is his third attempt. 50% success rate so far. Against that summer breeze, it's a bit of a challenge. But Owen Cahill has sent that between the posts and over the bar. Really good effort.
Well done, he just judged the breeze nice. He's kind of left to right into those goals. You can see him, he started the right hand post as we look here. Ball fades in and just drops over the head of Patrick Collins.
Just managing to get a little touch was Conor Doyle. Picked up by Robert Downey. Diarmuid Healy knocked away on this occasion. Cathal King fully recovered. Gives the short pass to Conor Doyle. This is better from Offaly. Cathal King starting the movement. Now at the tail end of it, perhaps. Don't get time to roll the slither on the Hurley here in the championship in the heat of battle. Sideline ball going to lee side.
And those little moments like that, Marty, are going to be what Offaly are going to try to take for the game. That time they ran with the ball carrier. There was an option left and right. He wasn't isolated. You can see, I know it broke down, but at least there was an opportunity to get the ball through the hand.
Mark Coleman cutting that into the middle. Owen Cahill goes back to recover it. Damien Cahalane and Brian Dignan are having a good battle. That was an easy ball for Robert Downey to gather. Comes for Sean O'Donoghue. Owen Downey makes himself available. Goes for the return pass from the brother. Gets it. Diarmuid Healy ends up again with Robert Downey. And the Glen Rovers man sends that between the posts and over the bar. It's very impressive.
Really, really good use of the ball there. In contrast to Offaly in the previous move. This ball goes to hand all the time. It's a great score from Downey.
Pat Taff from Belmont. Easy ball for Robert Downey. Comes first Brian Roach from Bride Rovers. And over his right-hand shoulder, touch of class. Second point of the match for Brian Roach.
Yeah, again, it's good for the confidence of Brian Roach out there. He's moved off his man and just good shot over the left. Warm weather too down to Marty's hard on the Offaly players to keep chasing and chasing like.
Worrying times indeed for Johnny Kelly. Owen Cahill aiming for Adam Screeney. We need a little bit of magic from Adam Screeney now to create a goal opportunity before the break. Comes back outside towards Conor Doyle. Swinging this to the wrong side of the post. That's Offaly's fifth wide of the game.
The screen did really well there, Marty. Put the ball out 60 yards into his hand. Maybe better off leaving Screeney and Dignan up front there.
Just over 2 minutes before we hit the 35th minute. There might be a little bit extra, but not much. Good ball from Terguinen. Adam Screeney makes the space for himself and puts that between the posts and over the bar.
Yeah, that's where he's most comfortable, Marty. In fairness to him, inside the opposition 45. The wicket damage, touch really good, spun the ball around Coleman. See here now the gaps left and right there for Collins to put the ball into.
Goalkeeper goes for distance again. Shane Barrett unable to control it. Brian Hayes challenging. Good work by Turgainen. Good ball into the space. Dan Ravenhill keeps it in. Brian Dignan, double mark to the moment. Great block down again by Damien Cahalane. Still Dignan. Trying to get it into the centre, and it wasn't far away. Just for a moment, there was almost a flicker of an opportunity of a goal. But Niall O'Leary was there. Hugh O'Connor adds to it, laying it off to the captain. And here comes Niall O'Leary, all the way from Castle Lyons. This is a great movement, shot. And that is gone wide. But it was a great movement all the way from Niall O'Leary in his own full back line.
They did really well to support, run up the pitch and get the pass out. Probably should have hit it over the bar himself. And we're going back, I'd say, on a Hawkeye.
There's a bit of a debate going on. And now looks like it's going to be a 65 for Cork. And I think the communication here is the effort there is quite clear that it was a block down off Alan Walsh's hurling, and that is a 65, and that is correct call by the umpires, and good communication with the referee.
Good defender from Offaly as well, with Burke inside there to get across and prevent the goal.
Five minutes of injury time going to be added on at least. Alan Conlon, 1 point from a free so far to his credit. And that is going to raise a white flag. No, it's not, because we're going back to Hawkeye again. So Hawkeye being employed quite a bit here in Thurles, but as Brendan mentioned, it's a lot slower, the mechanism, than what we have in Croke Park.
It is, yeah, way slower. And so we'll have to wait, and at least from an Offaly point of view down there now, I know they can get set up on the puck out. It gets them a bit of a breather.
I know you mentioned Dickie Murphy did it yesterday. Former referee of All-Ireland, several All-Ireland fans. Willie Barrett, I think, is doing it today. Two great former referees doing Hawkeye for the GA. Sean Stack is still waiting.
White ball.
And I think it's a kneel, although we don't see it. Ball is wide.
Just again though, Marty, here we're only on just up at half time, but Alan Connolly didn't have a great Munster final the last day, not really in it out there in a game where it's really flowing as a Cork forward. So he'd have talked a game like this to get his confidence going.
Here come Cork now, nice pickup. Offaly exposed again, but manfully, courageously, they're sticking to their task. And the referee spotted a late flick, I think, is the problem there, and it's Alan Walsh has been shown a yellow card. Yeah, more positive than negative first half by Alan Walsh, to be fair.
Oh, no doubt about it, Marty. He's been really, really good down there for his confidence. And again, this might be nitpicking a small bit. If I was Alan Connolly, I'd be saying I need to be doing what Alan Walsh is doing down there. He just hasn't really gotten into it.
Cork are there again. Nice pickup by Hugh O'Connor. At least three options over at this side. Diarmuid Healy is the one chosen. Spraying the ball from one side to the other. Brian Hayes past the 20, past the 13. Here's an opportunity. The referee, Sean Stack, has felt that was a throw ball. It had goal all written all over it. Yeah. And Alan Connolly will be bitterly disappointed.
He will be bitterly disappointed. We'll see it here if it was a throw. I'm not sure about that. Connolly had actually tried to go around the goalie. Some catch here from Hayes, though. There's some outball to have, and we'll see him later on in the championship. When you spray a ball in Croke Park wide like that, the hand pass again is real borderline stuff.
Nicely picked up by Adam Screeney into the centre towards Turgainen. Wonderful athlete heading towards goal. Can they produce something here? Great stick work, and Turgainen gets a point. He really is a special talent. another one of the member of the Offaly under-20 team that won the All-Ireland back in 2024. It's his 4th point of the championship, but for one moment, a goal was on the cards.
It was a lung-busting run down the middle there. I think when he got to actually hit the ball, then he could nearly have been gassed out, but what a run. Great bravery from the young man.
Dermot Healy. Good hands. Opportunity. Advantage is there for Cork. It's another goal. Brian Hayes with his 2nd goal of the match. You could have taken your pick, to be honest with you, because that Cork full forward line are tearing Offaly apart.
Alan Walsh again is the man there. Can't be the man 6'2" or 3" or whatever he is down there. Here comes the other man mounted to come off his shoulder.
And away goes Dan Burke, heading past the 20. Hugh O'Connor still in hot pursuit, but he runs out of space. And the referee has blown his whistle. I think he might well be giving a free to Dan Burke. He allowed him to play it on.
It's Hugh O'Connor, he's gone after there. Say that Dan Burke player is some player, Marty. I remember him a couple of years ago below in that All-Ireland under-20 final. He was really, really good that night below in Nolan Park. Absolutely killed us and tipped the way he played. But again, this is what you'd know him for. You can see the flick coming in, Hugh O'Connor there. That's the one they got the yellow card for. But
yeah. Cork on the attack again. Shane Barrett can't control it. And Sean Stack has overruled his umpire, which I think is Paddy Power. And that's going to be a 65. Yes, indeed. Former great footballer himself from Clare. And this is, yes, and well spotted by Sean Stack. Terguinen getting a touch. Fairness to Paddy Power, he couldn't have seen that.
No, he couldn't have, and just good work by the officials. If Johnny Murphy over on the far side there would have communicated with Sean Stack as well, he'd have had a great view of it. I think the final whistle will be, or the half-time whistle, I should say, will be blown after this free is taken. And that is sailing between the posts and over the bar. And there indeed is the half-time whistle. It's been an awesome performance by Cork, who clearly outnumber the fans here in Semple Stadium. Alan Walsh started the performance with a 4th-minute goal. Then Brian Hayes the 15th. Alan Walsh again at the 16th minute. Shane Barrett 27. Brian Hayes in 39. And it means a very intimidating scoreline. Cork 5 goals at 14 points. Offaly 6 points at half-time.
Have you room for one more, lad?
Clouds have parted and the sun is shining.
The summer starts here.
There has never been a day like this.
Absolutely extraordinary. We're looking at a star. Listen to the roar. Absolutely sensational. And it will never, ever, ever be forgotten.
Enjoy 2 years of 3 5G home broadband from only €25 a month. Just plug it in and you're good to go.
Jeez, we invented boards just to show you off. You're smooth when you're not comforting. You make it all better. The glue of life. I don't play favorites, except I do. It's you, cheese.
I got 2 words for you. Loyalty program. Snag this hotel for €325 a night.
You didn't check Trivago? I got it for €210. Yo, Benny, this guy didn't check Trivago.
Oh, you have to check Trivago.
Look, on Trivago, you can compare prices from multiple different sites.
And loyalty programs and prices from hotel websites.
Same hotel, way better deal.
2 words. Check Trivago.
Benny.
Check Travago and you could save up to 35%. Hotel. Travago.
You know I'm big on a bright white t-shirt, but if after a few washes the whites go dingy, they get relegated. It's buffing your motor dingy. There's down the gym dingy. I'm getting artsy dingy. But the big one from Ariel cleans really deep to bring back bright whites. Because you know all that dinge is just old dirt built up over time. So now I've ditched the dinge on all my t-shirts. I might have too many now. Ditch the dinge with the big one from Ariel. Always give away from children.
Ma'am, Dad, we have some news. We're switchers! We got a fantastic deal switching our broadband at switcher.ie.
Oh, congratulations, love.
Happy days. See if you could save on your energy, broadband, mobile and more at switcher.ie. Switch, save, happy days.
Eyes on this lizard, Dickie! That fella is the reason they made me yellow.
Where there's hurling, there's Centra.
It has been absolutely one-way traffic, to say the least. 5-star display so far in Thurles for Cork. Even when they can't keep hold of the hurley, they managed to put the ball in the back of the net. Fine display from that man as well, with 1-3 in the opening half. And this is what it looks like when you have scored a brace in the first half of your first ever championship start for Cork. It is the Rebels who are leading. They are dominating this 5-14 to 6 points. Well, we've just come from where we had that incredible extra time win for Dublin over Donegal in the football. Now we've seen this incredible first half display from Cork against Offaly. Before we get to our panellists in this, just a little update on David Reedy from Clare, whom we saw got that really, really bad injury yesterday. The good news is Clare tell us that he's out of hospital. He's recovering following the injury from yesterday. So that's great news. And we're thinking of you, David, and we hope that everything is okay there. We have Ursula, Patrick and Neil in with us. Ursula, this has just been, I mean, it's like men against boys. Is that unfair?
Yeah, you can't deny what that 35 minutes from Cork. You know, they've been awesome from start to finish, really, and they look so crisp, so clean, so sharp. Even Darragh Fitzgibbon back, the new guys in, Alan Walsh, everything. Their touch is perfection. They're not under any pressure, though. You know, they're bringing all the energy, but Offaly are just at 6s and 7s. And the number one thing I would have said before the game is they need to protect their goal, and unfortunately, they just look wide open at the back.
But Cork can only do what they can do. And Alan Walsh, what a way to come in and mark your first start.
It's been a phenomenal start for him, no doubt about it. But the defending that we're seeing here, you know, we have 3 players, a goalkeeper and 2 defenders, not really doing anything. Everybody leaving it to somebody else, and that's the outcome whenever you do that. Like, it's a great take. He wants the ball. He's hungry for it. He wants to play in an All-Ireland semi-final, looking for a starting jersey. But everything that Offaly are doing needs to be better. The intensity and the tackle needs to be well improved. Like, this is a mistake. He just shoots from too far out, and again, Alan is there, catches that ball really uncontested over Kieran and puts it into the net at ease. It is really, really poor from an Offaly perspective, because quite rightly, as Ursula says, I was certainly expecting Offaly to come here, set up with a sweeper, if not 2, make things really difficult for Cork. Like, it was no surprise to the Offaly faithful that Cork have good forwards. So they should have set up to do something about it, and really, but maybe with the intensity that they've brung here this afternoon, it might not have mattered.
Well, maybe. Surely it would have mattered some. I mean, we saw Brian Hayes, as you said, it's not surprised anybody to see Brian Hayes reaching up, catching the ball out of the sky and scoring goals either.
You think for the last 2 weeks, Offaly knew who they're going to be playing. You know, it's obviously going to be a massive, big task for them, I know that. But things like that, things like letting your player inside you for goals like that. You know, like you with Brian Duignan coming out, one great ball, screen, he was on the loop, just give it, he'll put the ball dead, but no, he kind of took a shot you could call it selfish, but Cork sweep it up here, and again, Offaly are just chasing them, chasing shadows really, and they haven't laid a glove on them, and a ball from the 45-yard line into Hayes, it's always going to end up in a goal-scoring chance anyway, and that's kind of been the way throughout, you know, they're unselfish with their play, they're moving the ball to midfield, getting it inside as best as they can, and the boys inside are cleaning up.
But you look at the deliveries going in for those goals, the guys in the defence for Cork are under absolutely no pressure, so they're able to pinpoint it into the danger area. You know, to be fair to the Offaly defence, they're under so much pressure, but maybe the work rate and the intensity that Neil is speaking about is not coming out further out the field for Offaly. They're just under pressure all over, and when Cork have so much time in the ball, they're going to be able to hit it with pinpoint accuracy. And while admittedly, obviously, the opposition has not provided what you expected to, it's another tour de force from Shane Barrett, is it? Without a doubt, he's controlled things on that half-forward line. He set the tone with the opening point. He just looks back to himself, you know, in top-class form. You know, he's a brilliant hurler, but what I love about him on the half-forward line, it's his positioning, it's his awareness. You know, you see here, Cork win the dirty ball. Himself and Mark Coleman work brilliantly here. Mark Coleman is on so much ball, and Barrett is so comfortable left and right shooting over, but he's got space as well. Again, you know, the ball comes out quite easily from the defence, and look at no one within 5-10 metres, and he'll do that all day long if he's given the time and space. And even when he is under pressure, he still seems to have that extra yard on the Offaly defence. And the ball going in here, again, Mark Coleman is sweeping across. He's so intelligent, he's all the time in the world to look up. A long delivery again. Look at this. For maybe not such a big man, he uses all his pace and power to win that ball and brilliantly hits it over the bar. And he's, you know, Cork need him, you know, on song and on form. But I love this about Diarmuid Healy. It's that unselfish play. Again, Barrett running off the shoulder, and that's what's one of Cork's strengths, running at speed off the shoulder. But look at this for a ball inside from Fitzgibbon. Barrett goes inside and he, you know, has the confidence to shoot, and what a brilliant goal. But look at that from Fitzgibbon. Goes and you know, he spots Barrett inside, and you know, Cork are masters at that. They're masters of everything, it would appear, in Thurles today. We have the second half coming up. Cork and Offaly both back out in the pitch. Cork already have 5 goals on the board. Back in 2011, they managed 10 against Laois, a certain Patrick Horgan, getting 3-11 that day. If Offaly don't shore things up today, they might get a lot more again. Back to Brendan and Marty.
Thank you very much, Joanne. 40,185 is given as the official attendance. There's a change on the Offaly side. Rory Kelly has been introduced for Ross Ravenhill at number 5, or at least in the half-back line. And they've now got the first score. That's off the hurley of Brian Duignan. It's a long, long way back. 5-14 to 7 points. Long puck out again. Down towards Shane Barrett. Attempted a little flick, which didn't work on this occasion. Ball comes down towards Owen Cahill. Niall O'Leary is there. Here comes Mark Coleman. Such a beautiful hurler. Great athlete. And a leader as well. Slither glued to the hurley. Loses the hurley. Did he drop it? I think so. And that's going to be a free for Offaly.
Yeah, Rory Kelly's come in over on that far side as well there. He's given a little bit of ambition. This is Coleman. Hurley fell out of his hand more than dropping the hurley. But anyway,
just to tell you, out of the Cork, 5 goals and 14 points, 5 goals and 12 coming from play. That is an awesome statistic on any day of the week, but even more so in All-Ireland quarter-final. Here comes Adam Screening, and that is gone to the wrong side of the post.
The key thing there, though, is Marty, at least he won it inside there. I know the shot was from a really awkward angle. If anyone can do it down there, to be screening, but if he gets the ball inside 20 yards in like that, bouncing in front of him, he'll make it stick.
Easily gathered by Dermot Healy, flicking it back for his own Downey. Outside the Offaly 65, calmly, casually, finds the target, gets his first point in this match.
Yeah, great point there from Downey. Doesn't matter what the scoreboard is, still have to admire the skill from that distance out to split the post.
Straight down the middle from Liam Hoare. Hugh O'Connor tried the little flick, but this is working out fine. The Newmarket man on the 20-13. Here comes another goal. Brian Hayes, hat-trick in Semple Stadium, Thurles. 2 in the first half, 1 in the second half, and more trouble for the faithful county.
Yeah, Bray called the half-back line out the pitch then, no one able to get back. O'Connor across to Hayes, little bouncy one underneath Liam Hoare as he comes out.
Saga continues from an Offaly perspective. The dominance continues from a Cork viewpoint. Brian Roach. Offaly able for it this time. Over for Carl King. 2 against 2. Corkman clearly fouled, and that's going to be a free for the Leesiders.
And Offaly have set up the second half. See here, Catalan, just the strength when you play against the elite players afterwards, and Johnny Kelly talks to these players, they'll probably talk about the strength, the athleticism that they have as much as the hurling.
Robert Downey. Well controlled by Brian Roach. Gathered by Pat Taff. Sends it back to his goalkeeper, Liam Hoare. Great running by the keeper from Carrigan Riverstown. Hits a mighty puck of a ball, and it's over the bar. It's his 5th point in the championship campaign. Just 20 years of age. Scored against Dublin, Galway, twice against Wexford, and now against Cork.
Yeah, well done, Liam Hoare. It's a great puck, came out. You could hear the oohs coming from the crowd there as he wound up to hit it. Did really, really well.
The sub-goalkeeper is a man called Mark Troy from Durrow, son of Jim, and a wonderful goalkeeper, but Liam Hoare has been outstanding. And I think Mark would get his place on most county teams. 1 against 1. Liam Hoare sweeps up. Down for his Conor Doyle. Clarima. Home to the wonderful golfer Shane Lowry. And I think this is just going to drop a little bit short to Pat Collins. Perfect. Almost, but not quite. And Pat Collins, those puck outs and those clearances are improving, I think, in every game, aren't they, Brendan?
Yeah, there's no doubt. No doubt, and that's what will be needed in a couple of weeks' time. I'm sure they'll be facing Galway next. Oisín Kelly now is in, great servant to Offaly hurling as well. Facing Shane Rigney.
Oisín Kelly from Belmont. Rory Kelly is from Lusmaz. The ball drops in. Cork under no great pressure. Sean O'Donoghue. That man again.
Like, Marty, I don't know, like, I know the game has gone from Offaly, right? But sometimes you have to try and best you can to protect your players. Offaly are playing with everybody up the pitch. They're all man for man. It's 1v1 inside there. They've really conceded 6 goals. This is the net result. In fairness to Ben Keneally there's not a major amount he can do. He's isolated out the wing with Brian Hayes with no cover whatsoever around him. So I'd say they should have somebody sitting. I know Neil mentioned it at half-time, just to protect your team as much as you can, you know.
So would you bring everybody back?
No, I just put one back. I play with 7 backs, to be honest,
Yeah.
the way the thing is gone. As I said at the start, it was okay for Tipperary last year in the All-Ireland final to play with 7 backs, and they caused Cork a problem with it. Not saying Offaly might do the same thing here today, but at least you can protect and keep the scoreboard down as best you can.
The faithful county, the faithful people. Still hoping for a better second half performance. Team is in the throes of rebuilding these young players. Remember what I said beforehand, with 7 of the team that beat Tipperary in the under-20 final 2 years ago. Starting today, 12 under 22. This is a Cork team at a different level altogether. Knocked away by Dan Burke. Cork have the possession back. Clearly a push. Clear push on Owen Downing, and that's going to be a free for Cork.
And if they speed it up, and if they wanted to hit a quick his inside, you can see the push there again.
Conor Doyle, the guilty player on this occasion. Dara Fitzgibbon going to take this. 3 times an All-Star hurler, 2018, 2024, and last year holder of 3 Munster Championship medals. Primary teacher in Pellier, just outside Charleville in North Cork. Looking good and on target. Second point of the match for Dara Fitzgibbon.
The Cork management down there, I don't know how many we get, 3 or 4 in. Barry Walsh is down there now at the moment looking to come in. William Buckley as well. Sure, Offaly defender. This is really the last thing you want to see. These 2 boys coming in.
That's Barry Walsh that's coming in for Shane Barrett. William Buckley is in as well. Brian Hayes and Shane Barrett have, between them, scored 4 goals and 4 points. By any barometer, that is a great day's work. Brian Dagden gone from full forward to out around the midfield area. That ball is wide. That is the 8th wide of the match for Offaly. Mark Coleman getting the short puck out from Patrick Collins. Sean O'Donoghue.
Space inside again now if they want to hit it in.
Getting the return pass. Knew he was going to be hooked, and off he goes. Nice turn. They continue to create opportunities. William Buckley sending the pass in, and that's over the bar. One of the biggest roars of the day. It's not just an ordinary point, it's a Sean O'Donoghue point.
He had a little smirk under the helmet as well. Did well.
First point in the championship 2026. Man who made his debut against Clare back in 2018. Bit of a jersey pull there by Robert Downey, but he got away with it. Away comes Cathal King. Looking for options. Have to go for a goal here, surely. And that has gone out for a sideline. Owen Cahill trying here to hit the back of the net, giving it everything. Sideline cut will be delayed as a Cork player is down injured. Indeed, I know Joanne said it already, but the good news is that Clare hurler David Reedy is now out of hospital and recovering well. The 2 medical teams on the Clare and Dublin camps did wonderful work, as indeed the first responders and the medical people here in Thurles. All of them should be applauded and acknowledged for their wonderful work. Good news that David Reedy is out of hospital and recovering well.
He is, and Heatherton got over to him as well, Marty, at the time.
Very
That struck
good.
me.
Yes.
It's the sportsmanship we have in our game. Yes, it was a mistimed tackle. Yes, we're all sad to see it happen and all that, and glad that he's okay. But the sportsmanship of opposition players to come to his aid is a great part of our game.
The fact that the Dublin and Clare medical team worked on David was just, that shows you what it's all about, really. So well done. Here comes William, trying to get a shot in, doubly marked. Sending it down the wing is Carl King. Well gathered by Owen Cahill. And Patrick Collins can admire it going out over the end line and wide. So Offaly bring in Colin Spain from Kilcormac Killahy. He was excellent actually against Kildare when he deputised for Dan Ravenhill at midfield. Cork supporters from all ages thoroughly pleased with the team's performance. So Colin Spain goes in midfield as anticipated for Dan Ravenhill. Short puck out from Pat Collins. There's the point score. Sean O'Donoghue. He'll love me for saying that. Mark Coleman. Back to Patrick Collins. Playing it a little bit too short, perhaps. Picked up by Brian Dignan. Pass inside is a good one. Sean O'Donoghue is back there. Good defending. Excellent defending. Offaly need the resources from outside, and again O'Donoghue blocks. Hand passed away, and away come Cork. Dermot Healy puts up the left-hand paw, but it's a long ball instead. Should have gone for the short ball to Dermot Healy, in fairness. Conor Doyle has Hugh O'Connor to contend with. Spreading it in towards the corner. And away come Cork again. More opportunities. It's Barry Walsh laying it off to William Buckley. And that's over the crossbar.
Inside Barry Walsh, a nightmare inside there. He can turn the corner. You can see him here, gets inside, heads straight for goal. The hand pass was a little bit lower. Buckley happy enough to take the point.
When you think of the Cork bench though, Brendan, I mean, they have the forwards and they have the experience. When you think that Shane Kingston, Seamus Harnedy, Pádraig Power from Blarney, who's a really good hurler, they have potential along the sideline.
They have, there's no doubt. There's great depth in it. Surprised I haven't seen more of Seamus Harnedy. I think in All-Ireland semi-final, where they're headed with 10 minutes left or so, some of his skill set to try to win the ball could be what's needed. And first to Ben O'Connor, he's gone with youth now.
Clearly pulled back, clearly fouled. Frustration levels increasing all the time. Barry Walsh and William Buckley, number 21 and 23, causing problems.
First to Rory Kelly there. The last thing you want at any level is to have the likes of William Buckley standing out beside you with loads of grass in around the back. He gives the step and he's gone. Same way with any one of the inside forwards that they have.
Yellow card as well for the Lusma man. Lusma, a great club of Joachim Kelly and John Troy. Here comes the free. Umpire perfectly positioned to signal that ball wide.
Yeah, again, Marty, it's not to be picking on poor Adel Connolly down there, but doesn't look to be himself. I'm not sure, I can't put my finger on it really. The day of the Munster final as well, he was really on the periphery of the game. He would have hoped today to get on it an awful lot more, to get that confidence going in him. I'm sure he'd look forward to the open space at Croke Park as well when the time comes.
Owen Burke is on now for Offaly from Coolderry, and he replaces Owen Cahill. Sideline ball going to Offaly. It's kind of an eerie silence around the ground now, isn't it, Brendan?
There is, yeah, and in fairness, the crowd have stayed in. Nobody is leaving. In fairness to the Offaly supporters, really, really good in the way they're looking after their players down there, sticking around, trying to cheer them on because they know it's a development piece for them.
Good ball. Opportunity coming now, surely, for Offaly, and it is a splendid effort. Oisín Kelly An absolute cracker. And the Offaly supporters who have stayed in Semple Stadium, loyal, faithful people, have something to finally cheer about.
Yeah, but fairness to Kelly, he was really strong there. You see him gets the ball into the right hand. He pushes off Cahalan then to get the space to swing. A little bounce was the one that got it past Collins. It's a great finish into the far corner. See it there right inside, just where the green flag is.
Indeed, I forgot to mention when I was talking about star forwards, Robbie O'Flynn is another option. He's going to be introduced now, it has been, for Dara Fitzgibbon, and Seamus Harnedy is on for Brian Roach. As we anticipated, even at half-time, that there would be substitutions used by Ben O'Connor, with a guaranteed place now in the All-Ireland semi-final, joining Clare, Limerick, Galway. Niall O'Leary. Owen Downey was waving enthusiastically, unmarked. Brother wants to get the return pass, but he was being marked tightly. Dermot Healy. Seamus Harnedy gets a touch. Owen Downey spreads it down the wing. Chasing after it is Alan Connolly. Good defending by Offaly on this occasion. Killian Sampson. Going back to gather with Sean O'Donoghue. Nice rob. It's that man again. Big Oisin Kelly. This time he lays it off. Can they get a second goal? They can. Brilliant. Adam Screeney, having scored 2 goals and 18 points in the Leinster Championship, gets a goal in the quarter-final, created by the big man Oisin Kelly, who unselfishly laid it off to Adam Screeney, and Screeney rattled the back of the Cork net.
He did, and that's why all the talks about that young man, Marty. You see Oisin Kelly gets it here, pushes off Cahalan again, this time gives a low little pass. See the composure of Screeney there. Collins comes out, just played it in under him.
It's looking better on the scoreboard, just a little. Cork now on the attack. William Buckley going for the score. Just sending it outside the post.
Everybody's playing for something down there, Marty. In fairness, you said about the All-Ireland semi-final. Cork lads who come off the bench now won't want to have the intensity drop. Gives Ben O'Connor a chance during the week to say, well, I gave you a shot and you didn't take it.
Competition for places is now on, big time. That's in the Cork campus. That shot goes well wide of the target, off the stick of Adam Screeney. Still 16 minutes left in this match. Robbie O'Flynn, having won the ball cleanly, stakes a claim for that semi-final position. Good score by the Airjong Glanton man.
Yeah, won the ball back well and cut inside and took his opportunity. He had a man inside him all right, but it was the right thing, tap it over the bar.
Liam Hoare getting the puck out accurately. It's a good ball as well, up towards Dan Burke. This lad is a good hurler. Hasn't had a chance to really shine. Takes a shot, back outside, and the referee has blown his whistle. And it looks like he's given a free to Offaly.
He's on advantage there, Dan Burke, when he just cut inside. This was really good at Marty. Get you isolated at that. Watch the step. There it is off the right foot. Cuts inside, takes the defender's ground. See the referee's hand in the background there. Up. Another goal opportunity for Offaly. Gives him that small little bit of to get something out of the game. That man was lucky he didn't kick it into his own net.
Adam Screeney belting this over the crossbar. Goal and 2 points for the Kilcormac-Killahey man now. Have to admire the supporters of Cork and Offaly. With 14 minutes to go, 40,000 people here And really, as I look around from the vantage point, nobody leaving, to their great credit. Sideline ball this time to Cork. Mark Coleman gone back to take the sideline cut. Just his sideline cut in the first half in towards Alan Walsh. Gathered the ball cleanly and rattled the back of the Offaly net after 4 minutes. Set the tone for the performance at the Munster Finals 2026. And here come Cork now. Options left. Alan Connolly laying it off. William Buckley to Barry Walsh, but the pass was not a great one. Just a little bit too strong for the Turks hurler.
They want those to go to hand when the stakes get higher further down the road, but again, it's quickly through the hands. It's just that last ball again, like what Barry Walsh had. So Ger Mellerick is into the fray there now. Mark Coleman is the one coming out.
I've often said it in the past that I've often felt Ger Mellerick would get his place on most intercounty teams. Good hurler, fine corner back. Puck out from Liam Hoare is going to dribble out over the sideline. Sideline ball for Cork. Diarmuid Healy thought about taking it. He's going to leave it now for Owen Downey. All-Star 2024. Scored a point against Limerick and Clare in the Munster Championship, and he's got one here as well. Good ball into the space. Hopped nicely for Dan Burke. He's only got one thing on his mind. Happy at the end of it all to tap it over the bar.
Dan Burke has done well since he got in there, Marty. See, he's on Rob Downey there. After getting clean possession a couple of times now, caused a bit of a threat.
6 goals, 20 points to 2 goals and 10. Killian Sampson from Shinrone, the captain, holding on for dear life.
Yeah, he had a good hold of Robbie Flynn's early there. You could see him, he's holding on for dear life. He's right, Marty.
His brother Jason captained Offaly to the Joe McDonough 2 years ago. Hurling DNA very strong in the Sampson family. From a great club as well, Shinrone. Cork full forward line between them have scored 5-4, with Alan Connolly doing 3 points in the scoreboard, scoring 3 points now. That's his fourth.
It's not today nor yesterday, Marty. To be fair, that inside forward line for Cork is the one. The next round, the semi-final or final, if they get there, the managers against them will be saying we have to either stop the supply going in or get an extra man floating around when they get it to cut out that space, because they are lethal.
And Brendan, like when you think William Buckley had a great Munster Championship campaign, he's in there, he has been in there with Alan Connolly. You get Alan Walsh a chance and he scores 2 goals today.
Yeah, he does, and they're the headaches that Ben O'Connor's going to want down there. Every fella's putting up his hand is based on what they do in training. Barry Walsh, the last day, didn't really work out for the Munster final, but he's a young man and he's learning. The same as William Buckley is. You forget how young these players are. There's going to be little dips along the way, but overall they're going to be great service for Cork hurling down the road. But I'm more worried about 2026 now.
Good hands again. Carried out over the sideline, however. It's Robbie O'Flynn. That's going to be a line ball for Offaly.
Yeah, good strength from Terguinen there as well. Didn't let him get around the corner. Knocked him out over the line. See it here again. Guinan just got that left hand in there. Used his feet well. Nudged the player out.
And Terry's going to take this himself. Another one of the 20-year-olds. It's a learning curve for so many of them today. Seamus Harnedy flicking it in towards William Buckley. Great wrists. Diarmuid Healy. William Buckley got inside, but Healy looks at the goalposts, decides I can score from here, but he sends it wide. It looked good when he hit it, but just off target. Offaly hoping to get something out of this. Ger Mellerick strong in the challenge. Sean O'Donoghue. And Cork have all afternoon to deliver the quality ball. It's a good one actually from Damien Cahalane. William Buckley under pressure sends it wide. It's 11 wides for Cork. And look at the scoreboard, though it doesn't really matter, I suppose. 6:21.
Oh, like, it's very hard, Martin. You're playing a game like that when the adrenaline isn't firing through you. All your instincts are normally get it, hit it as quick as you can. But when the pace of the game drops like it does now, we're going to see more errors, especially from Cork forwards, hitting the ball wide and all, because they're not at that heightened rush of adrenaline that they need to perform at their peak.
Sideline ball. Taken on this occasion by Colin Spain. And the number of wides continues to grow. That's the 11th wide for Offaly off the stick of Colin Spain. Gone down to challenge level in terms of efforts now from both sides. Nice ball inside. Here comes Alan Connolly. Can he get inside the cover? He's brought to ground. Referee has blown his whistle. And for holding, that's going to be a free in. Dead straight in front of the post.
Yes, yeah, just got him for holding there. And he just goes to ground. On another day, people might be roaring black card, but a day like today, it's just a free in. And he lost control of the ball actually before he went to ground, so that would have taken that red or black card out of the equation.
Five Offaly hurlers on the goal line, including the goalkeeper Liam Hoare. But Alan Connolly happy enough to take his 5th point of the game. Long puck out again from Liam Hoare. Diarmuid Healy laying it back to Robbie O'Flynn, who returns the compliment. Makes a little angle for himself and then hits a ball in, which again is swinging to the left.
Yeah, again, it's just that drop in intensity. You could feel it all around the ground the last 20 minutes, if we're to be honest. In fairness to Offaly, they just have to keep plugging away, keep getting the most out of this game as much as they can, and the experience they're getting, hard and all as it is.
Good work by Ger Mellerick, tackling Terguinen. Sideline ball for Cork. Offaly introducing a substitute. That's Luke Watkins that's coming on. Another one of the Shinrone players, and he's coming on for the centre-half forward, Conor Doyle.
And the Cork management as well are keeping an eye on Rob Downey. He says it's only cramp is all he had. He just fell down the last piece of play. They're having a chat with their physio down there at the moment to work out, is it worth taking him off? I think they've all their subs used.
5 minutes to go in Semple Stadium. Robbie O'Flynn batted away, but again, lovely stick work, great wrists. And Seamus Harnedy puts his name on the score sheet for the first time. Now 31 years of age from St. Etis. 3 times an All-Star.
I still think, Marty, with Harnedy, I'll be a big supporter of Harnedy's. Cork are to do that in Croke Park. The next 2 spins out down the home straight. The likes of Harnedy will give you wicked composure. Wins puck out. There's an awful lot still left in the tank for him.
Getting his second chance. It's that kind of day. Now, perhaps they can do something here. It's Kelly again, taking 2 to stop him and put him out over the end line. and concede a 65. But Oisin Kelly has made a difference to this Offaly attack, causing serious problems. Huge, big, tall target man has a huge impact off the bench.
He has, no doubt. He wouldn't last the full 70 down there, Marty. When he comes in, though, the sides of him, and he is athletic. Good hurler as well, direct, as we've seen from his goal, pushing Cahalane out of the way, setting up Screeney for his goal.
Scored his goal in the 51st minute. To their great credit, and it's not an empty compliment, because Offaly have never given up despite being outplayed here.
They haven't. Marty, I was involved. I met Oisin Kelly, now how many years ago it was now, below, when they were relegated out of the Joe McDonough, below in Killarney, and it's come an awful long ways. And Offaly hurling has a couple of years ago was on the wrong side of them, beating us in Nolan Park, and the under 20, the crowd and colour they brought to that game. And while today is a harsh one, there's no doubt about that, 41 points to 17 when you add it up that way. Still a lot of learnings they've gotten from today. They deserve to be here is the first thing, and they just have to dust themselves down now.
Absolutely. Great county Offaly. When you think of the Pilkingtons, the Dooleys, the Dignans, indeed, so many others, the Wheelahans from Burr, new stars. But right now, Cork have the team. Here comes the shot, great save, comes back outside, out for a 65.
Downey's calf is okay again anyways. Foul coming up the field thinking I want to try to get a goal here. Great block inside. Offaly defence there is Burke again. He's done really well today. His last tackles, one off the line in the first half, another one there.
And you do remember, Brendan, Rob Downey's great goal in the All-Ireland final a couple of years ago to start against Clare.
Yeah, he did.
Cracking goal.
Yeah, ran it into the net as it were. Just everyone kept backing off him. They just kept going that day in Croke Park.
3 additional minutes going to be added here. Time to reflect and think for Johnny Kelly. He's always said the team is in development, and this is a learning curve from them. Different gravy, this crowd from Cork, I can tell you. They're really, really good, as Alan Connolly gets his 6th point of the game. Hell-bent on winning that All-Ireland. And they have just created a huge buzz and a huge volume of support. They just have brought so much to the GAA, this Cork hurling team and their band of supporters. Wonderful. Ball is dropping in, and that is gone right and wide.
Yeah, who'd have thought, Marty, a couple of weeks ago when you said that Offaly are going to be playing Cork, that we'd have a sellout stadium here in Semple Stadium. And again, it's a pull back there on Brian Dignan coming out. I think there's Cahalane inside there.
Referee Sean Stack blowing the whistle and giving the free. I think Adam Screeney thought about trying to go for a quick goal, but it wasn't really on. At this stage, he's nothing to lose but to go for it. Stopped by Pat Collins, put back in, stopped again, flicked out. It's not gone yet, the danger. Ger Mellerick trying to get it onto the hurley. I think he's lost the hurley. And it's a free out for Ger Mellerick and indeed for Cork.
Cork backline were playing that game to keep the uppies in there. See the flicks, flick, all the way out long. And eventually they were able to clear the danger.
3 minutes of injury time at least going to be added on. Absolutely no doubt that Cork are in an All-Ireland semi-final and keep the company of Galway, Clare and Limerick. William Buckley battling for Cork, but well won on this occasion by Terguinan. Spreading it over to the far side, but easily knocked away into the path of Sean O'Donoghue. Oh, beautiful to watch. And William Buckley bends the back, bends the neck, trying to squeeze it mentally between the posts, but it just didn't come off. But the wrist work again of Alan Connolly. Galway did it in the Leinster final as well. Just these lads, the top hurlers in the country, have just wonderful wrists. And they're sprinkled throughout the country, but you saw it there with Alan Connolly. Floating it into the path, and well got it by William Buckley. Minute and a half to go, and confirmation that Cork, not that we need it, will be in the last 4.
Yeah, Rob Downey must have been under a bit of pressure. He's ended up in the full forward line, his hand up there. He's excited, waiting for the ball to come in. Hardy's going to have a go. He's probably going to go over the bar, but Rob Downey's inside there. He's pointing where he wants it. He's full Patrick Horgan in his pump.
Seamus Harnedy with his 2nd point of the match. For Ben O'Connor in his 1st season in charge. It's another step on the journey back to Croke Park for an All-Ireland final. Today, they will celebrate this. They're in the last 4. But they will also know that next day it'll be a much more serious challenge. Offaly have it. Silence, eerie silence around Semple Stadium, considering there's over 40,000 here. Trying to get inside that cover is not easy for Offaly. Twisting and turning is Owen Burke from Coolderry. When the shot arrives, ball is wide.
Now Owen Downey again, even though we're in the last seconds of the game, did really well, cut off the angles, made him turn back outside, made him take the shot from the acute angle. Have a bit of pride in your defending. Owen Downey did really well there.
Final whistle about to blow here in Semple Stadium. And it's only now that people are beginning to leave. Thurles, ball comes back, gathered by Liam Hoare, and the referee blows the full-time whistle. For Offaly, disappointment, but it is a learning curve with these very young players. For Cork, it's another step in the journey. They're sending out their stall early in the 1st half, with goals from Alan Walsh after 4 minutes, Brian Hayes in the 15th, Alan Walsh in the 16th, Shane Barrett the 27th, and Brian Hayes in the 39th. Total, when you add on Brian Hayes' 3rd goal in the 37th minute, it was overall an easy performance for Cork. Cork now join Galway, Clare and Limerick in the All-Ireland semi-finals. Full-time score in Semple Stadium. Thurles, Cork, 6 goals and 25 points. Offaly, 2 goals and 11. And for Cork, 6 goals and 18 from play.
Wow, that is some statistic, that is some performance. Mind you, Offaly will be very, very disappointed. Cork hurling fans, they sure know how to invade a pitch. How does this help them in any way, though, Patrick Horgan?
It's great help. They have great support. I know for a fact the players love it.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean the fans on the pitch, although it did sound like that. I more meant the performance, and what happened today with it.
No, there would have been a bit of pressure on them all week, I suppose. Everybody telling you're going to win well. And I suppose for them, they're just training the 3 nights. They'll have the AVB games, and the B team usually end up kicking them around the place in those games, and to wake them up for games like this and putting in performances like this, and it's job done. Looks like no injury, so it's another plus as well.
It's fair that is magic, though, isn't it? Like, even looking at it, it's incredible.
It's great. It's great for them. We were here last night. There wasn't too much of a crowd here. And it's great for the Cork players to be able to, soak this up after every game.
Every game, but that's the key point, isn't it? To be fair to the Clare supporters who were here yesterday, they had covered the pitch as well. What do you make of that, Ursa?
Yeah, well, I think the positives from Cork, obviously they had the goal machine in full force today. The likes of Dara Fitzgibbon got game time. We probably saw that there's, good strength and depth in the, with the subs coming in. The likes of William Buckley, who probably as a surprise was dropped today. I would have felt that it was maybe a bit harsh that he didn't start. William came on, Robbie O'Flynn, Harnedy. So I suppose we can see the strength and depth that is there. He got to give Fitzgibbon a game time, but obviously the couple of injuries, Tim O'Mahony and Tommy O'Connell, you have 2 weeks now to get ready for the semi-final.
The thing about William Buckley is an interesting one. He had performed so well, had he not, throughout the championship, but when he came on, did it almost look like his confidence had been knocked?
I'd say he was frustrated, Joanne, that he wasn't playing, unless something had went really badly wrong at training. His performances up until this point of the year have been a real revelation. What an addition he had been to that Cork forward line. So I found it bizarre that he wasn't starting today. and you know, he had a few wides whenever he came on, so that frustration might well have been still lingering.
Probably eager as well, you know, coming on. Probably would have felt he should have been playing, as all forwards probably think in their own heads anyway. But came on and probably over eager and probably took a few shots from the sideline. But he still would have felt hard done by definitely not playing. I think he probably would have deserved a spot. Not taken away from what happened today, with Alan Munch coming in, replacing him, and getting 2-1 in the first half. So all is good.
Neil, what do you think when you see the scenes like we're seeing here in Semple Stadium as a man up in Antrim, where there is this really passionate support, but when you see what they bring out here every single time?
Let's be honest, Cork have really carried the hurling championship this year, regardless of the intensity or the competitiveness of the match they played in. Their fans are incredible, and we know the financial impact they're having on the association also. So look, they bring incredible colour, and they are yearning for this All-Ireland, and they're trying to push this group of players over the line. But in fairness, Offaly have played their part in the championship so far, brought an awful lot of colour to it, especially throughout the Leinster Championship. And today, I've been in their shoes before. They have beaten teams who, you know, I certainly would have said were a level above them before the start of this season. Their progression has been incredible over the past 5 seasons. They can hold their heads very high on the day. They tried to do the spectacular, the heroic, whenever what they needed to do was be very calm, consolidate at the back, and just be very good on the things that they've done well so far this year. They went a little bit individual, in truth, and Cork made them pay big time.
They made them pay massively, but does it also raise concerns about the difference in standard between Munster hurling and Leinster hurling once again?
Yeah, but I would argue that the Leinster Championship in lots of ways probably provided more entertainment. Overall, the hurling championship has been underwhelming. Like, we look at the 2 games this weekend and, you know, the 2 quarterfinals. Like, they were no better than maybe some of the previous year's preliminary quarterfinals. So that's a worry for me. I think there's been more poor games than good games in the championship overall, regardless of Munster and Leinster. The Leinster Championship probably provided more entertainment in lots of ways. So I think overall that's a little bit of a concern for me.
Okay, we might have more on that in a few moments, but there were difficulties picking the man of the match, and then they decided if you get a hat-trick, it probably makes it you.
Yes, indeed, Joanne. The man of the match, Borgash man of the match is the tall, good-looking Brian Hayes. He asked me to say that with 3 goals on the point. Catherine is going to present it from Borgash. This is Catherine Lonergan. So thank you very much, Catherine, for doing that. Well done. I think Cork people would cheer anything at all at the moment. They're so happy. But from your point of view, a hat-trick today, overall, very easy to get to that All-Ireland semi-final.
Yeah, no, to be honest, Marty, we gave Offaly the full respect coming up the road, as they deserve. You know, you can see that the way we started there. We were just hoping to get off to a good start, and you know, killing any momentum that they could have brought into the game from a good Leinster Championship. So yeah, we were delighted there with the first half, and definitely some workings there in the second half, but just all about getting the win today and on to Croke Park now, thank God.
You were talking during the commentary, Brendan Cummins, myself, about the competition for places. When you look at Robbie Flynn, Seamus Harnedy, William Buckley, and Barry Walsh and Alan Walsh getting their chances today.
Yeah, no, it's been said loads of times before, the competition in our training games and within our squad is huge. You know, we're a very competitive group, and it's great to drive standards, and I think, you know, you saw that there with the lads that got their chance to come on there today. You know, the standard didn't drop, and you know, they'll be putting their hands up now for the next day. But yeah, we're great. We've a great squad, and we're looking forward now to build on it.
What's it like to score a hat-trick in an All-Ireland hurling quarter-final before a packed Semple Stadium? The volume of people that were here, both from Offaly and indeed Cork, was really impressive.
Yeah, no, it was special, to be fair. Look, the Cork fans, they're unbelievable to travel wherever we go. You know, they'll back us to the hilt, and we were delighted to come up here and see a sea of red today again, and we're hoping for the same in 2 weeks' time. You know, they're brilliant today. They drive us on a good bit.
And Brian, in terms of the team, I'm sure you'll have a little bit of a celebration amongst yourselves, because you know that this was a little bit easier than what people were anticipating. All-Ireland semi-final coming down the track?
Yeah, no, look, you have to enjoy these moments, you know. Sold out Semple Stadium, All-Ireland quarter-final, albeit we were comfortable in the end, but we'll enjoy it there in the dressing room with the group. They're special, and yeah, we'll be all guns blazing in for Galway in 2 weeks. You know, I think the lads were saying there that Cork haven't beaten Galway in a while, so like, that's something we'll hope and be able to do, and yeah, we'll be looking forward to it.
we are all looking forward to the All-Ireland semi-final between Cork and Galway. Congratulations on a hat-trick of goals and indeed your Borgosh Man of the Match award as well. Thank you, Brian.
Another fine performance from that young man there, a man of the match, not for the first time. And here is confirmation, semi-final. So we have Galway against Cork live. That's on Saturday the 4th of July. And then the Sunday game is not Tyrone against Mayo, it is Limerick versus Clare. So we will have throw-in times for those confirmed in a little while, but we know what the fixtures are. Anyway, you've played Patrick Horgan in the full forward line alongside Brian Hayes. Give us a little insight as we look at his hat-trick, what it is in particular that makes him special.
I suppose he has a lot of strengths. You know, his height being one, obviously, so he's real danger in the air. But he can move like, I suppose, what you call a small fella. Like he can move left and right. His touch is really crisp, and he has an eye for goal. Like he comes off the shoulders. The timing of his runs, he's really developed all these skills, I suppose, over the last couple of years. Even the turn to come back in and send the defender out towards the sideline was magic. And it's just, I suppose, he can't do that, I suppose, either without, you know, Alan Walsh, like what a catch that was, and coming off the shoulder, like we just said, perfect timing. It's all timing with him, and yeah, it's the players around him as well know the danger he possesses, and they feed him a lot of ball as well. Like this is very unselfish play, and the complete opposite to what we're looking at Offaly all the time, giving it when, you know, he probably could have went in and tried to bat it himself, but you know, pure unselfish, great play and great finish. We seen last night. Donald Burke got in the same position, couldn't put it away, like, and that's the difference there.
Is it true that he was late? Because you even just said there, these are skills he's developed in the last couple of years. A lot of times you see hurlers, they burst on and got this full skill set.
It's very hard to, I think anyway, to burst on your first year or maybe two and just be good at everything. Like, you know, you see from, I suppose, being inside in the game, feeling the heat and feeling what you can do and what you can't do. And adjusting your game, and he's done that perfectly over the last couple of years.
But he has differentiated himself on an athletic and physical level. You know, his hurling is good. There's no two ways about it. It's very, very sharp now, and he has improved that. But his ability, the spin, the pace, the acceleration, if you put it in front of him in space, he'll turn you. Put it in high, he'll catch it and go at you. Like one of his catches off Ben Keneally was phenomenal, you know, and Ben is no slouch, and like he's the man that Galway have to stop.
Okay, speaking about that, we do have two All-Ireland semi-finals to look forward to. More on this, but we'll very much so be concentrating those two games as well.
RT Sport have teamed up with Castleknock Hotel, a 4-star luxury hotel situated near Dublin's Phoenix Park. You and a friend will be treated to a 3-night stay in one of their stylish suites with a gourmet breakfast each morning. There's dinner too in their signature restaurant, Earth and Vine, where you'll taste the finest of local ingredients. And there's plenty to do on site, from their deluxe spa, where you'll also enjoy a spa treatment each, and a round of golf in Castleknock Golf Club. Check it out on castleknockhotel.com. And so you can hit the shops and explore Dublin. There's €500 spending money. So for your chance to win, answer this question. Which of these is the current manager of the Dublin Senior All-Ireland football team? Is it Ger Brennan, Aoife Fitzgerald or Andy Moran? To enter, call 15 17 71 71 74 or text the word GAME followed by your answer and name to 57886. Maximum cost per entry is €2.50. You must be over 18 to enter. Lines will close at midday on the 22nd of June. Full details are on rte.ie/competitions, where the lucky winner will also be revealed.
Disappointing day for Johnny Kelly and for Offaly, but for Ben O'Connor and his men, they march on to an All-Ireland semi-final. Didn't Cork look good? And when you score 6 goals in an All-Ireland quarter-final, you can only get the cornerback up to studio to join you in Sean O'Donoghue, who had the high-scoring cornerback as well. Well done, Sean. What was it like out there? It was hot.
Yeah, very, very hot. I suppose same for both teams, and I suppose the intensity was always going to go in the second half, especially when you're not used to the heat. Like the heat hasn't really been there this year. But I don't know, we started very fast, stayed on top of them. And I suppose gave away 2 sloppy goals, but like, you know, I suppose we had the luxury of doing it, but you know, it's still not what you want, not the way you want to finish a game, like, is the only thing.
That's a really good insight into your character, I think, because within that very first answer, you talk about the goals that were conceded.
Yeah, you know, we've conceded, I think, 6 now this year, like, you know, it's only 4 in the Munster Championship, and all kind of sloppy ones towards the end of games. Like, we've been defensively very solid, like, you know, the structure has been brilliant, and makes our lives a lot easier in the full back line. So, you know, just to let in a couple of sloppy goals, especially when one comes from a silly mistake as well, you know, you'd be thinking about it a small bit, but I don't know, look, the boys did the work up top, so it gave us the luxury.
It's hard, I would imagine, though, is it not, to stay concentrating when you do get off to that fine start and you're so far on top? Yeah,
I suppose it's hard, like, because you are trying to do the same thing all the time, but, you know, the intensity does go out of it as well, and oftentimes, like, when you're in the dogfight, like, that's when sometimes your decision making is best. Like, you just know exactly where you're going, you know, when you're getting the ball where you're going. Whereas when the game kind of slows down, you know, you just do silly things, like, and, you know, we gave away some sloppy possession there in the second half, which isn't going to do in 2 weeks' time. But no, look, I suppose if we did the same thing in the second half there, we wouldn't have learned much about ourselves. So, you know, we've a lot to work on for the next 2 weeks, like, so that's good.
This former teammate of yours here, he has picked his moment of the match. Patrick, you want to take us through, or do you want Sean
this is a big moment. We had to celebrate. We had to bring you up and celebrate because we've been trying to make this happen for a long time. And you've had a good couple of cracks at it, but this is it here. Like, what are you thinking? I think you receive it, actually. You're going to pass the half back. You're taking it.
I did
Talk through it.
I'm gassed here now anyway, and I just popped it off and like, someone take the ball off me. And then I just was stopping down and I said, oh, look, there's a gap there. So
that was another good ball.
drove on, bad touch. I had goal in my mind there.
Yeah,
well,
you
bad
looked
touch.
nervous. There's 25 picks.
Yeah, 3 or 4 picks.
They're allowed.
Yeah.
Did you actually have goal in your mind?
Yeah.
Were you thinking, you can see your name in lights?
Yeah, I top right there.
So could we see a switch then 2 weeks' time, up corner forward, no?
Stranger things have happened, we'll see.
There'll be less ball passed in the future.
Yeah. No, do you know what? I had a wide there in the first half, and the second one, I had a chance as well to put it over the bar, and I said, I'm not giving this one now, so I gave it to Hayes, and he made the most out of it as well, yeah.
He may have mentioned that at the time as well, that you had missed it. Overall,
no doubt.
how do you feel this leaves you set now for in 2 weeks' time, when you have had an odd sort of game like that?
Yeah, I suppose, like, either way, like, you know, if we won the Munster, we've been waiting 4 weeks to play a semi-final, and it's in a way it's good to get any game. You know, I know, like, the first half we did let loose, but like the second half, you know, you did learn an awful lot. Like, they came at us, they showed us what they had, you know, and they put us under pressure. Like, so, it's obviously a huge game in 2 weeks. I think we haven't beaten them since 2008 in the championship. So, like, you know, we've to change that story now and just really drill in on Galway for the next 2 weeks now. We focus on ourselves, of course, but they're going to pose a different challenge to what we've seen. So it's just a case of recovering now and just all guns blazing for Galway and push ourselves into another All-Ireland final.
And Sean, today, you know, where you were taking the ball, you know, in your normal position, really, doing lots of giving and going, you could find yourself out around the middle a bit more with Galway, you know, playing a much more protracted game, leaving maybe Jason inside or Conor Whelan inside by themselves. How do you prepare for that yourself?
I suppose, like, you know, when you're training, you're marking, as you know yourself, like, you're marking what you consider the best players in the country. Like, you know, you've a lot of fellas there you've been marking in training, and you'll be coming to a match and you're saying, like, geez, thank God I'm not marking the boys in training today, you know. And there is that depth, like, there is that ferociousness, and lads are killing each other in trainings, and lads are giving unbelievable balls in, and you're finding yourself gassed at training. Like, so, you know, if you're training as hard as that, you know, any match you play then, like, you know yourself as well, you're as prepared as you can be. So it's a case of just giving 100% every session now for the next 2 weeks, and whatever Galway throw at us, we'll be ready for it.
Did you pick him up then when you were training?
Yeah, it was handy though.
Was it?
Yeah. I know he's going to say it.
Yeah. Just to pick up on the question that Neil asked you there, so when you are training, are you training at times for the scenarios like that where the forwards are coming up against this very, very much so packed out defence?
I suppose you'd mix and match. Like, you'd play your own game. You'd look at the opposition, maybe, like, see what they're doing. But most of the time, it's just 2 teams, and they're both playing for Cork, basically, both trying to get onto the team. And, you know, it's just the main thing is just the intensity, making sure the intensity is high. You know, you can go through game plans, puck outs, all this kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, you know, after 10 minutes, that'll go out the window. It's the team who works the hardest is gonna come out on top in the end, like, you know. So, you know, you will work on a couple of different things, a couple of tweaks, like depending on what team you're playing. But it's if the intensity isn't there in the sessions, then you know you're kind of ambling into the game. So.
That's key. The competition in training is still the same. Like the competition, I'd imagine you had an AVB game again last week, and the Bees probably, well, they call it AVB, we'll call it that for the sake of it, but the Bees like would give you plenty of it. You'd be going home thinking, you'd be going home early, like not even talking to fellas and everything, because it's, you know, they really do bring it, don't they?
Yeah, it does. And like fellas leave training annoyed at times because the bounce of the ball doesn't go their way. Like, you know, it's all in the training. Like, and you know, as I say, like we'll have whatever 3 or 4 sessions now before the Galway game, and we just have to be just perfecting, like bringing it up more and more and more. Like, you know, we're at a good level now at the moment, but like we need to just bring that up another level, because you know what we did today, even in the first half, you know, it's not going to do against Galway. So you know, we need to show what we can do now in 2 weeks' time, and that's all going to build for the next 2 weeks.
Even with the Munster final, so it was such a narrow defeat, but we got the impression from Cork that you still felt that you were a good bit off it, because even listening to you there saying we have more levels within us, how much better do you think you can get than even against Limerick a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, well, I thought we were okay against Limerick a couple of weeks ago. We probably left a lot behind us, but you know, you leave a lot behind you in a lot of games. But it's all just on our effort, really. Like, you know, when our effort is there and we're doing the basics right, you know, we'll fancy ourselves against any team in the country any day of the week. So obviously you have to work on things, like, you know, you'll get that bit sharper, the hurling will get a bit sharper. Like at this stage of the year, you know, how much fitter, faster and stronger can you get? So it's just about being that bit sharper, that bit more tuned in, and just mentally being ready for being in a battle, like, you know, as opposed to like being 10 points ahead or 15 points ahead. You know, there's going to be battles to come, so we're making sure that you're 100% ready for them, that we come out on the right side of them. That's the key for the next 2 weeks now.
Sean O'Donoghue, it has been so good having you up here in studio with us. Best luck in a couple of weeks' time, especially if it's out in the heat like this. Well, we say goodbye to Sean. We're going to hear from his manager now, because here is Ben O'Connor.
Ben O'Connor, congratulations. Cork are through to an All-Ireland hurling semi-final. But give me your view on that, because it just, I mean, it was going to be a challenge, but it was easier, I think, than what you even anticipated.
Yeah, I suppose, I suppose we got off to a great start. We were playing with the breeze as well, which was kind of strange. I think Offaly won the toss and opted to play against it. So we had it, so we wanted to make use of it as fast as we could, and we got the early goals, and I suppose that killed the game off. It was a spectacle after that. But I suppose, look, we had a game 2 weeks ago as well, and Offaly haven't played in 5 or 6 weeks maybe, so I suppose they were a bit ring rusty as well. So, but look, we're just delighted. The boys are after getting the job done. That's all we asked them.
The attitude seems to be right, fully focused. I mean, having lost the Munster hurling final, you came back and you produced something like this.
Yeah, I suppose after the Munster final, fellas were made to get back straight away. We took most of the week after off, so we've done a good bit of work now in the past week. But no, fellas were champion to be ticket going. We put all the feet at the back of the head and we'll drive you on again. So now we're in an All-Ireland semi-final. There's only 4 teams left, so we're in with a chance.
You really have built a lovely panel over the last number of years, but particularly this year, brought in Alan Walsh, Barry Walsh, Sean O'Donoghue got a point today, which was great to see. So you have forwards everywhere, really. So you must be pleased with your squad.
Yeah, look, the fellas were training hard since last November, and it's great that you can give them game time as well on the big day. And I suppose a lot of the young fellas are pushing hard, and the older fellas are driving on as well. Like, so it is a great balance. We have fellas that are going well at training, and if you're going well at training, you have a chance of playing.
Brian Roach and Darragh Fitzgibbon did very well in midfield today, but will you have Tim O'Mahony and Tommy O'Connell the next day?
They're going for scans during the week, so we'll see how they're progressing, but it doesn't look great at the moment. But look, we're still 2 weeks out from the game, so hopefully by the weekend they'll be able to get on the field, and if they don't, that'll rule them out.
Well done on a great performance, and the best of luck in the semi-final. We'll see you in Croke Park.
Cheers, Matt.
We will, and they often look like a Croke Park team, although it doesn't always turn out well for them. Sorry, Patrick. There's still, sorry about that. Well, I'm just after you and Sean having that back and forth. One of the things Sean picked up on, though, was he almost immediately talked about the goals they conceded, and you could see that was already an annoyance for him.
Yeah, you could see the standards that Cork obviously set, and it will be a disappointment for them that they conceded 2 goals today. Now, to be fair to Oisin Kelly, he made an impact. You know, he got out in front of Cahalane. He probably brushed them aside easily enough, and Cork will be disappointed by that. You know, he gathers it brilliantly, and he's a very strong physical presence there, and he rifles it to the bottom of the net. You know, so to be fair to Offaly, they'll take a positive from that. Again, probably Sean was maybe slightly casual here. Screeney, you know, dispossessed him. Again, Oisín Kelly kind of brushes them aside and lays it into Screeney, and we've seen this time and time again from Screeney. You know, he's deadly in front of the goal, but Cork would be disappointed that they conceded those 2 goals, and they'd expect better from their back line the next day. And they almost got in for a 3rd goal. Again, Cork probably were a little bit casual. You know, the game was well and truly over, and Cahalane somehow managed to keep the ball off the line. You know, and that's just the standards. You could see by listening to Sean there that they don't want to make mistakes, and they view that as a mistake, those couple of goals.
He was really annoyed at the errors that led to that goal.
Yeah, they would. Like, there's a lot of, I suppose, video analysis done, you know, within the groups, like the forward groups, the back groups, and you know, when they see them, they probably won't be pleased, because there was moments within both of the goals where Cork could have done something to stop the goal chance happening. And like I said, when I go around with Hayes, Sean's the same. They'd be looking at the videos non-stop, looking for tweaks and looking just to get better every week, even after such a good display, you know what I mean?
Do you want to fess up and say who you thought may have been man of the match? He's trying to remember. It was the fullback. It was Damien Cahalane.
Just because like he was in front of us here in the first half, and he put Brian Duggan under a lot of pressure. I'd say he probably got 4 blocks in the whole game. So I thought everybody else seemed to get 2 goals each. So it was hard. It was hard after that. So.
Fair. Let's hear from the Offaly manager. Here's Johnny Kelly.
Johnny Kelly, I know you're bitterly disappointed, so thank you indeed for joining us on the Sunday game. Can you put into words your thoughts at the moment?
Actually, look, Marty, disappointed is exactly the word for it. You know, bitterly disappointed that we didn't put up a better performance for our supporters in particular. Good crowd from Offaly came down here today, and just disappointed that we didn't perform, particularly in the first half. But that's a brilliant Cork team, like, and it just shows exactly the level that Offaly have. We've come a distance, but we've a long way to go yet.
But there is a difference there. Cork are kind of at the premium, or they're at the top. It might take Offaly a couple of more years.
You have to admire Cork, what a talented bunch of players, and the physical power of them, the hard running of their team, their ability to go for goals. Like they showed all of their ranges of talents there today. Like, we sat back and tried to protect in front of our full back line. They still scored over our heads. We pushed forward. They go straight away, and they identify that, and they go down the channels, and they create another goal or two. And that's the nature of it. Just a young team. I hope our guys, learn from it more than anything else. So yeah, we'll take the learnings from it and move forward.
Conceding a goal after 4 minutes from a Mark Coleman sideline to Alan Walsh, and he buried it. That was probably the worst possible start, I would imagine, from your perspective.
Exactly. Look, these are the things that happen, and you try to guard against it. You talk about it. You do all the prep for it, and then a line ball that we would probably have considered maybe should have gone the other way. Goes in, and I'm going to clutching the straws here, like brilliantly taking goal into the air, like, and it does. It puts us in the back foot straight away. And we spoke about that possibility of Cork getting a goal or two early in the game, and not to rattle by it. But I suppose the biggest problem for us is that we didn't retain enough possession up front. We got on ball. I thought we stretched Cork half back line at times, but very rarely threatened the scoreboard. So that's the next level that we have to get to.
There's a lot to be positive about to get this far, and there's a lot of learnings, to use your phrase. So I've no doubt this Offaly team will improve over time. Can they do that?
That remains the question. Like, I mean, we know now that there's a serious difference between where the real top teams are and where the chasing bunch are. We'd like to think that we are in the chasing pack, but it will take everyone's efforts to keep us there. And then, hopefully, as these young fellas get older, I think today we started with maybe 9 under 21 players out there today. It's very young when you're up against a seasoned team like Cork, like, as I said. But look at. Hats off to Cork, brilliant team, and they're going to have a really good cut at this All-Ireland.
I mentioned in commentary, 12 of your team were under either 22 or younger. That is a phenomenal number of young players at the highest level.
It is, and it didn't work out for all of them there today. Some of them, probably didn't work out. But I mean, the important thing for them is to go away and take that on the chin now and even on the nose and learn from that and not drown in that. Like, we have to pick ourselves up, and these players in particular will do that. They've had a reasonably good year, but as I said, it's clutching the straws when you're talking about moral victories. We really did wish we had performed a little bit better there in the first half in particular. But look, overall, we move on, and we wish Cork the very best.
Can I give you one other compliment in the back of all this? The people of Offaly, despite you getting a bit of a hammering, nobody left. They were there for you all the way, which I love to see.
Yeah, look, to be fair to them, like, they've been starved of success for so long. They're a really small county, like when you're talking about, 12, 13 hurling clubs in comparison to the size of Cork, who I think have probably more clubs than all of Connacht, so this is the difference in terms of resources. But everyone's putting their shoulder to the wheel. Everyone's trying really, really hard. It is what it is. We have to try and do what we have and get the best out of everyone in Offaly, and I think we've been doing that for the last couple of years, so hopefully that continues.
Well, Johnny, and a pleasure to deal with, may I add, and indeed the Offaly County Board as well. They were very good to us, so thank you.
Very much, Martin. Okay, thank you.
Tough afternoon for Johnny Kelly and for Offaly, but Neil McManus, you turned around towards the end of that second half and you made the statement that you were very worried about hurling.
I am, Joanne, and that's such an honest assessment from Johnny Kelly. And let's be honest, Offaly have been the story of the season when we talk about a developing county, a county pushing forward. They've made the last 6 here. What a credit to them. But look at the gap. Look at the gap. The gaps are getting bigger at every level in the association, and I'm extremely worried. We have Wexford who are moving back in the pack. Kilkenny are even moving back in the pack. The gap between Leinster and Munster, and let's be honest, we're hoping now that Galway, the standout Connacht county, are going to put it up to Cork next or in 2 weeks' time, I should say. Like, the group of teams who are capable of winning the All Ireland is not growing; it is getting smaller. There has to be a serious rethink here about where we're going with this game. We have the best game in the world. It is, bar none, the spectacle of Irish cultural life, and we're not giving it space. And I know people will be used to Donal Logue saying it, but he's dead right. We haven't given it space to breathe. We watched 10 minutes of the extra time of football rather than coming to the biggest game in hurling for Offaly in 23 years. That's what we did here today, and that's the respect that we've shown hurling. So why should we be in any way surprised when the game isn't growing, when the game is not, coming to a new level in terms of the competition that we have? Football has been revolutionised. We're all enjoying it, let's be honest, even me. And it's because there's been effort put into it. Well,
The GA could turn around and say, we've popped you onto a hurling development committee, we've popped Ursula onto the hurling advisory committee. There's two committees.
About a 100th of what needs done. Let's be totally honest. And the hurling development committee and the committee that Ursula are on will help, but it will not touch the sides. Let's be honest.
So what does Willie Maher? Because they've a head of hurling in now. We don't know what his strategy is, but
Willie Maher is one man. Willie Maher also needs the ability to control the funds that are going towards hurling. That's number one.
Why, do you believe he's not?
I don't believe that he has. That those funds are managed centrally. We need to see something very specific for hurling, and I think we need to go a step further. I think there needs to be a hurling only county committee for each county. Should have a hurling only board, leadership, whatever we want to call it.
When you do that, do they get the right power? Do you need somebody from the very, very top in the GA to make sure that it's, because I bet you there are hurling people within county boards already who are struggling, already been part of it.
Okay, let's take Ulster for an example. There is no Ulster Hurling Championship, not because we don't have the teams who are capable of being competitive with each other, just because football is more important to them. That's the long and the short of it. That's what drives the revenue, so that's where we focus. But is the government not giving us an awful lot of money towards hurling? Let's make sure that is spent on hurling. Let's make sure that is spent in the areas where hurling is dying. Let's be totally honest. We can't even keep the counties. Like, Laois went and got their house in order, and it allowed them to win Division 2A and win the Joe McDonagh. Like that, because the competition and the level of effort and level of opportunity for that group of counties is so small. We have got to do something about this, or we'll be watching Cork, maybe Kilkenny if they can get things turned around really quickly, Limerick, maybe Clare, competing for the rest of the All-Irelands. You know, like the teams that have been winning the All-Ireland for the last 70 years are still the 3 or 4 we're looking at today.
And the same teams, I always go back to this, if you read the book The Hurlers about the very first All-Ireland hurling championship, it is the same teams there, it's the same issues that are happening. Have you seen anything from being inside the hurling advisory group? That's the one that's being led by John Myler. Have you got any input about funding, about anything that can be done like that from the GAA?
Not in relation to the funding. I suppose our focus at the moment is focusing on maybe making tweaks to the rules. The same kind of issues are coming up, the same kind of teams in relation to inconsistency with refereeing, the hand pass. And we all know that the game of hurling doesn't need major tweaks. Like, it doesn't. The game is in a good place for the most part, but I'd be very disappointed with the championship this year. The gaps that are growing in the teams. Kildare are going back down to Joe McDonagh now. Where does that leave them? How does a county like Kildare or even Laois now, when they come into the Leinster Championship, how do they progress? How do they develop? Are they just going to yo-yo back down again? So to me, I'd fully agree with Neil that the same 2 or 3 teams will be up at the elite level. Is that good enough that the game of hurling is only realistically 3 or 4 teams that can win in All-Ireland? Because at the moment, the chasing pack are way, way behind.
I know it's tough for you because you're coming from a county, some would argue, and I know Cork County Board probably disagree, that prioritises hurling above all else, and you're literally just out of the game. But have you seen differences from now that you're not involved with the seniors to see what is happening? What's Neil talking about? This enormous gap that appears to be growing.
Just on the field, like from what I see on the field, I suppose, and especially today's game, John there said it there a bit ago about his players. How many of them under 21 or 22, 21? Was it 9 or 10 or whatever? That's a big thing. Like young fellas, like you see Barry Walsh coming on for Cork today. He's that age. Like Offaly have 10 of him, and he's a freak. With his strength and all that, but in general, at that age, coming into senior hurling, you're not fully developed. They're on the right track, of course they are. Today will give them a bit of a wake-up call, and it might drive them to a point where, you know, when you come up against somebody and you're thinking, I didn't think they were that far ahead, I didn't think they were that much better than us, it might drive you, like in an off-season, to bulk up. They look like today, there was, you know, they never seen a gym, like, you know what I mean? But that does take time as well. And in general, if you have teams like all the other teams you were referencing there a while ago, you know, they need to look at what they're doing themselves as well. Like you're not just going to get good for no reason. You have to put the work in to yourself. And like we said a while ago, Sean there had a great game. First thing he's going to do tonight is look at all his clips tonight. You know, that kind of way, and like see how we can get better. What do I need to do better? What do I need to, my sleep, my eating, and all that kind of stuff on top of it. So it's there's a whole lot in it, yeah.
Yeah, and of course you do have to have the people in place there to help guide you through to know that that's right. I would imagine, Neil, we'll have time, hopefully at a later time, to go into that in more detail, because you have clearly so much to offer and to say about that as well. What we mean is that there are 3 matches remaining and only 2 weekends of inter-county hurling left in 2026. Hard to believe. A big thank you to Ursula, to Patrick and to Neil for their time. Don't forget to join Jackie at 9:30 tonight. It's on RT1 for the Sunday game. Highlights and analysis of this, but also a very, very interesting day in the football championship, including that drama that we saw in Croke Park, and lots of high scoring up in Clonus. But from all of us here in Thurles, bye-bye.